How's it going, everybody? We are back with another live edition of the Ad Podcast, shooting here at the M+C Saatchi Villa in Cannes. We have Nadja Bellan-White, the global CEO of M+C Saatchi Group North America. Nadja, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. How are you doing today, Dil?
Great. So do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, your role at M+C Saatchi?
So as you said, I oversee our North America team. That includes everything from performance, our sports and entertainment practice, our brand advertising, issues and reputation, and advisory practice. We have a huge consulting arm as well. And the beauty of our M+C Saatchi model, particularly at a time where there's so much change happening in the industry, is I think we're resetting the standard for how we partner with clients, to the level of service we provide, with how we navigate the next, all under the umbrella of cultural power, which we believe is a brand's most powerful currency.
Yeah, I love that. So you have a beautiful space here at Cannes. You guys are setting up for a party tonight. How are you guys bringing the brand to life here at Cannes this year?
Well, a couple different ways. As you know, I don't know if you realize this is our 30th anniversary.
Wow, well, congratulations.
We've been around for a while. We're OG.
Yep.
Like everything with great insights, what's old is new again. So we've kind of reinvented ourselves, but still at the center of who we are, still the creativity and the grit that we've always had as an independent network. Today, we have many panels we're a part of. I was part of one talking about the future of AI yesterday. But today we will be hosting a panel discussion with AC Eggleston-Bracey, who, as you know, is the Chief Brand and Growth Officer for Unilever worldwide, as well as the Mickalene Thomas, which was just named as one of the Time 100 most valuable and influential artists in the world based on the work that she's doing to influence culture today. That's just a snapshot of the type of impact we have. So not only do we impact in the world of sport, my colleague Robin will get into that a little bit later, but we're also at the seat of culture, at the table with the most influential brands around the world, really talking about what cultural power means in today's geopolitical state, how you wield it, how you use it, how it drives ROI for brands, how it's always been at the center of purpose. And I think at a time where some may think that's not very important, what we actually do is tie it to the tangible ROI, which we believe is absolutely critical in today's, marketplace.
Yeah, I love that. I think Possible was kind of an inflection point for me this year where, the AI conversation was, of course, very prevalent, but also I feel a very good pendulum swing back to investing in brand and investing in creative, especially from the perspective that AI is going to make it so easy to launch a challenger brand that really the only thing that will differentiate you is your brand and what you stand for.
And your values.
Yeah, your values.
And, it's interesting. I was at a conference recently with Patel, and, there is a group of brand and leaders, marketing leaders in the room. And one of the discussions we had is that there's actually a corporate brand responsibility. And some may believe that brands may no longer have that role or should have that role. I would argue that it's time for brands to stand up.
To double down.
And to double down. And at a time when some may question, who do I turn to? Who are the leaders? I think that we in the industry have the burden and privilege of representing. And we have the power to unite, or the power to divide. We at M+C Saatchi choose to use our power for good, if you will.
I love that.
And that also means the brands that we choose to work with.
That's really cool. So, I know you hit on an important point. A lot of brands are reeling from, maybe dipping their toes into politics or culture in a way that maybe they weren't authentically prepared to share their voice. Probably Bud Light maybe being the most prominent example. Maybe consumers just don't want to hear about that from their light beer brand. But then you look at brands like Patagonia or Nike and others that it's just so interweaved into their culture. How could they not? Do you have any advice for brands on how to navigate that space in a way that's authentic? So when they do activations that are not only embraced by their consumers and new audiences, but they can do it with confidence.
I have an expression I use with many of my clients: brand do, not brand say. And if I look at the many brands I've worked with throughout my 30 plus year career, Coca-Cola, Dove, for example, when my team and I developed Courage is Beautiful for Dove, there was a question as to whether or not we had the right to do it, but it was the right time. Not because of what was happening in the world, but because Dove had built up a level of equity in the marketplace that allowed them the right to walk through those doors. And so I think for those out there who are questioning what role they play, I would argue, what are your values that you've built over time? What role do you play over time? If you think about one of our largest clients, JP Chase, they have a level of credibility in the marketplace because of what they mean to the fabric, not just clients across the US, but in many, markets around the world. Jamie Dimon and Carla Hassan and that team have built that over time. So that is something I always look to, which is, what are your values? What do you stand for? What role are you playing? And stay true to what that is. You can't flip-flop. Just the same way you can't be in market for 3 months and then leave for 18 and then come back. I think you're going to have an impact. Correct. And then probably those newcomers are going to disrupt you, or certainly AI might.
Right. I love that. I think you just hit on another important idea, is the idea of the founder-led brand. Whether it's Jamie Dimon or Mark Zuckerberg, really managing their personal brand and being out in front in public and really the driving face behind the brand, to the challenger brand that has a really great opportunity to document their journey as a founder, almost giving people a reality television view of what it's like to build a business. How are you guys approaching advising clients about founder-led brand and the CEO as the chief evangelist?
Well, I think that some embrace it, some run from it. I think if you're going to be a leader of a brand, you are the face.
Yeah, whether you like it or not.
Whether you like it or not. So how you show up, what you say matters. Particularly at a time of social media where everything is recorded, you have to be very, very careful about how you lead. I often say you have to live in the purple. And you have to try to always be the voice of reason. Not every leader chooses to do that. That's their prerogative. We at M+C Saatchi, I certainly have decided to live in an area of the purple and bringing people together. That's how I roll.
So good.
Everybody may not roll the way I do, and that's okay. Perhaps you're not a client that we might want here.
Yeah, that's great. It's I love the idea. So many agencies get stuck in the idea that they have to take every piece of business no matter what. They have to pitch on everything. But I feel like, agencies can be purpose-led too by really being discerning about what pitches and what opportunities they take, because then it shows that they stand for something and they don't just work with anybody because there's an opportunity for revenue.
There's a power in no as much as there's a power in saying yes. And I think agencies that know who they are in their DNA understand the power of no.
Yeah.
And it may be that perhaps we're not the right team for you, but this person over here might be. I think the beauty of M+C Saatchi is the values that we've had have been ingrained, particularly what we're doing in North America. Is I call them my lovely Avengers. We understand what our role is. We understand what we need to do to help brands navigate the next. We understand the power, the different disciplines that we bring to bear. And I think that's the beauty of it. My team across North America is absolutely the best in the industry. I would put them up against anybody else. And I will tell you, it shows. And that, for me, makes me particularly proud. And it's not necessarily about always being in the front for these leaders. Sometimes it's leading from behind and providing your teams the tools they need to succeed.
I love that. So I don't think we would be having a marketing podcast at Cannes without at least speaking to AI. And because you did a panel on it, I'm uniquely curious on your insights, specifically of how, if you could give any example of how you're operationalizing AI to help empower agency work and allowing your teams to do better work.
Well, let's see. Perfect timing. We actually brought a team in to work with our group across North America about leveling up. And
nice. Okay.
And then we're following up with specific work sessions.
Nice.
We're teaming up with a team called Crant. And Crant's working with our creative and production teams as well as our creator marketing teams our production teams and growth teams and how you're leveling up. Like, here's the thing. I've been around long enough to remember when digital was a thing, when the web was a thing. AI is moving at the speed of light.
It's faster.
So therefore, the tools that you learn today are going to be obsolete tomorrow. So it's not about one particular tool. It's about how are you using it to amplify what you're doing? How are you using it to drive a level of efficiency? And how are you using it to kind of transform the way you partner with clients? And for us, AI, for me, is another key discipline, like our data stack, that underpins everything that we do. And it's a core part of our offering in North America.
I love it. So if people want to learn more about what you guys are doing at M+C Saatchi, or if they want to connect with you directly, you want to point anybody on how to do that?
Well, they can always call me. I have an open policy. Reach out to me, Nadja.Bellan-White and M+CSaatchi.com. Happy to have a conversation with you, a cup of coffee, take a tour around Madison Square Park in New York City. But we're always here to help.
Thanks, Nadja.
Thank you so much for your time, Dylan.
Cheers.